We're being recorded. Okie dokie. Okay, I wanted to talk about willpower, and willpower works really, really good until it doesn't. And this is the case where it probably doesn't. It doesn't take much. A person can do really good with willpower for a while, but if something comes up, like if a person is tired or you get into an argument with a spouse or somebody, one of your workmates or something like that, willpower kind of goes out the door. And what happens then is what we're going to talk about tonight is building your structure so that you have more control. And this is a little bit more solid structure than what we had before. And this is what we call skill power, not willpower, but skill power. And this is thinking about things that happen that try to get you off track and maybe changing the track. So as we go through here, I'll be talking about the path of least resistance. This is by Robert Fritz. He's an artist. He's a director, a movie producer. He does everything. And when we do things like we planning for a retirement party, or we're planning for a family reunion or something like this, you actually go through the process that he talks about in here. And we'll talk about it more like next week. And this is where you make a plan. You figure out where you want to go. What is the goal you want to accomplish? Where are you now? And what steps you need to take to get to that goal. And we'll be talking about that. But the path of least resistance, what he's talking about here is that most people and most things use the path of least resistance, and most of the time this is doesn't do for you what you really want it to do, because it's easier to do what you did yesterday, do it again today because it works, rather than maybe doing something that's constructive toward creating better health. Now this is like, for example, I always use an example of water. Water starts off in the mountains and it goes down the stream, and it may go through a meadow, and then it might go through a canyon, and it takes the path of least resistance and ends up in the ocean eventually. But let's just say that you're a person living near this river, and what you want to do is you want to be able to use some water out of that river to irrigate your crops, or maybe create some electricity for millions of people or something like that. So what we do is we change the structure. We put in a dam, and this is a dam there. I think this is the dam at Lake Glen Reservoir. It's in Utah. In Arizona. Yeah, it's right to the north end of Arizona. But what they do is they use it to the dam in order to create things that you want in their life, and that's the irrigation, electricity, that type of thing, flood control. So that's the different things that you can do. And some of the sayings that I found is never settle for the path of least resistance, because actually, the path of least resistance is a rut, and you'll never be happy with the path of least resistance. Path of least resistance will never make you proud. Never, this is important, never let people who choose the path of least resistance steer you away from your chosen path of most resistance. In other words, whatever you do, there's going to be people in your life that when you're doing this program, they're going to want you to go out and maybe eat and go to this buffet and something like that. And sometimes you have to really tell them no, and tell them that I'm working on a program in order to create more health for myself. And I know that you will support me in my efforts. And most of the time they will. But Bill always talks about his mother used to make him a pie, and he would tell Mom, I really love your pies and everything, and I'll just have a little bit of a bite, but I really can't be doing that because it's not helping me get towards my goal. And Bill's my other health coach that I work with on the meetings. And there's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in doing something, you'll only do it when it's convenient. But when you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. And this is really true. It's got to be totally committed. Now, this is a video that's for motivation, and it's really pretty good. It's not very long, and I do apologize for the language that he uses, because some of the language is not that great, but the message is. So it'll be a little short video, about 3 minutes.
The biggest problem most people have when it comes to achieve those goals is just simply the lack of starting. It's a matter of motivation, it's a lack of goal setting, lack of action set. And really, it's opposite. They believe the bullshit that they've been shoveling for all these years to make themselves feel better about not having the success that they truly want and they think that they should have, or that somebody else around them already has and possesses. People that succeed are often the hardest working. People at the top of the game are often the hardest working. I tell people, go sit on your house, go sit on your couch and die then. You know, I mean, what more can I do? Oh, you don't want to exercise, you don't want to eat right, you're going to start tomorrow, you're going to start Monday, you're going to start January 1st. Go sit on your couch and die. That's literally what you're doing. There's so many small little things that people can do immediately to start changing their day, changing their life, and start to move that forward. But all too often, people don't have the motivation to do so for a lot of different reasons. They'll blame their parents, they'll blame their upbringing, they'll blame their current situation, the fact they don't have money, or their boss says this, or their teacher says that, and it's all bullshit. Everybody's completely responsible for themselves, for their success, for their failure. No matter what happens, if a comet comes and crashes through the roof, now you got no place to live, what are you going to do about it? You're going to sit there and cry, or you're going to start digging yourself out? You're going to find a place to go and stay and start to clean up your house and live under the rug and start to rebuild immediately. Don't sit there and whine and complain. Sure, you can feel bad and you can be a little depressed, but it shouldn't stop the action of moving forward. Well, you are the emotion being included. I am not a perfect person. I have my ups and downs and highs and lows just like everybody else, but my action is what matters most. You, on the other hand, you just sit on the sofa watching the same old mind-numbing propaganda, and you think that's normal, and you pretend you're so special. Uncle Mike is here to tell you you are not special until you start doing the things to make you special, to make you stand out, to be the one who is the example. Because everybody listening, everybody watching can change your life right now, this moment, right now. The very next decision you make will take you one step closer or one step farther from your goal. That's it. I don't care what you did yesterday. All I care about is what you do next. And then after that, and then after that, and then after that. That's the only thing that matters, guys and girls. That's what motivation is. Motivation is simply doing what is necessary to achieve the desired outcome without falling backwards, without making excuses, without pretending that you're so special. Most of not. Nobody is. None of us are. The only thing that will make you special is if you stop being and being average, being lazy. It's not special.
So he's kind of short and to the point, but I like what he says about don't care what you did yesterday, I just care what you do next. And that's pretty good motivation.
It is.
And another thing on motivation is knowing your why. I know I talked to both of you about this when we started the program is, why do you want to do this and what is your goal? And that's one of the most important things. And Dr. A covers it I think in the first element of the book. And it kind of divided into four things here. Yes, I have a clearly defined why, and it's in a visible place, and I review it often. Or yes, but I need to review it and put it in a visual place and review it often. Or three, yeah, I know what my why is. It's in my head, but I haven't written it down yet. Or four, I'm not even sure what your why is. What would you guys say? What would be your number?
Well, my number's 3. I know my why, but I haven't written it down.
Okay. Nancy?
Well, I've written it down. It's not clearly defined. And I don't review it often enough. So I guess I'm a 2.
Okay, all right. Well, what we want to do is we want to take where you are now and kick it up a notch over the next week or so. I've got the motivation on my refrigerator because there's 2 coaches that I really admire that I've been at meetings at, and I know them personally. And they look so good in their suits, so slim and trim. And I have that on my refrigerator so that I can't go to the refrigerator and open it without seeing their pictures. That's also motivation.
Yeah.
Now, my whys, here's some whys, for example. Am I changing the focus on improving the health and well-being because I want to like the way I look in the mirror? I would like to feel healthier. I want my husband to be proud of me, husband or wife. I would like to have more energy and stamina. I want to be a great example of health for my grandkids. I want to travel on a safari to Africa. There's some whys of why a person would focus on their health and well-being. Now, when Dr. A talks about this, he doesn't talk about, and he doesn't want you to use words like I want to, I would like to. He don't want that. What he wants you to do is talk about it like it's going to be from a year now, and you've already done it, because it means more to you when you are talking like you've already done it. I do like the way I look in the mirror. I do feel healthier. My husband is proud of how I look. That gives it a little more meaning when you do that. This next week we'll be talking about getting through the holidays, some tips on how to survive the holidays. But holidays can really mess a person up, so we want to do what we can to keep that from happening. Now, motivation, there's 2 types of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. That means motivation from within and motivation from without. Now, extrinsic motivation is doing something for some sort of reward, for grades, a trophy, food that you're going to have, or money. And even though they work temporarily, they don't work over a long period of time, because it's just not a goal. When a person wants to they tell me that I want to lose 30 pounds by first of the year, okay, that's good, but that's also intrinsic motivation. You got to stick that why on it. Why do you want to do that? Then it has more meaning. Extrinsic motivation occurs when we are motivated to perform a behavior or engage in an activity to earn a reward or avoid punishment. And some of those examples are exercising to lose weight, dieting to lose weight, doing it for rewards, or avoiding negative consequences. So those are some of the extrinsic motivation things. The intrinsic motivation things come within. It's what you want to do, your why. This is when you really have a good why in mind. This is something that you enjoy, something that if you enjoy it, you wouldn't mind doing it, even possibly for the rest of your life. Something that you find interesting, internally rewarding, It just makes you feel better. If you're doing some exercises, you're normally going to feel better because it provides some endorphins that go to the opioid centers of the brain and make you feel good. When you after you exercise, you know how you feel better after you exercise. Something that raises the contentment level. Now, these are things that are inside of you. And some of those examples are exercising to relieve stress. I do Tai Chi a lot, and we do a lot of motivation things in there. We close our eyes and just meditate, and it makes you feel better. Meaningful relationships is important. Personal growth is better. Community contributions. I belong to the Kiwanis, and we do all kinds of things to raise money to help children's organizations. And makes us feel good to do that. I enjoy it. We enjoy the enjoyment we experience would be sufficient for us to want to perform this activity in the future. Those are things of intrinsic motivation. And again, knowing your why. You mentioned that Nancy, you were a 2 and Cheryl was a 3. Let's see if we can kick that up a notch, and give me a text and let me know how you're doing, that you've got it written down and posted somewhere where you can see it. Okay, illness does not come upon us out of the blue. They develop from small daily sins against nature. When enough sins are accumulated, illnesses will suddenly appear. And this is true. Everything that we do, I have that one slide that shows that if you do all these little bad habits on a daily basis, you're going to end up on the sixth slippery slope. And consequently, on the other hand, if you do things that are good habits a little every day, and Dr. A says, I'm happy with you if you do more good things today towards your health than bad things. He said that's a good day. Nobody's perfect, but if we're making progress, if we're doing more good things in a day than we do bad. And he talks that every time we see him. So, all right. Thank you, and let me stop the recording.
Okay.